Hotline, may I help you?
Hi, is this project safe?
Yes, it is. How can I help you?
I have a situation going on. Me and my husband separated a year ago, but he's been following me everywhere I go. Like he just shows up outside my house. He shows up outside my workplace, and I don't know what to do anymore. I tried calling the police, but they weren't helpful at all. Like, do you have anything that I can do? Any resources?
Absolutely. I definitely want to see what we can do to help you. I'm so glad that you called. I know that this is really overwhelming, so we're definitely gonna make sure that we explain everything and see what we can do. Okay?
Thank you.
Are you safe right now?
Yes.
Okay. And you said that this is your husband?
Yes, ex-husband.
Okay. Would you mind giving me his name?
His name is Chris Smith.
Okay. Okay. And what about your name? Can I have your name?
My name is Carly Shortman.
Carly. Okay, Carly. My name is Tangela, okay? Okay. Can I get your phone number just in case we get disconnected and I call you right back?
Yeah, it's 770
Mm-hmm.
645
Mm-hmm.
1132.
Okay. 770-645-1132.
Yes.
Okay. And what county are you in right now?
I'm in Madison County.
Okay. And Chris, does he still live in Madison County?
I think he moved to Clark County once we separated.
Okay. Okay. So you said that he has been showing up at your job and outside of your home.
Mm-hmm.
When did this start?
This started about 6 months after we separated. It's about 6 months ago.
About 6 months ago?
Yeah.
Okay. And have you called the police?
I have.
This? Okay.
Yes.
What have they been saying?
They have been saying that I just didn't have enough evidence of him stalking me,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't know how to gather evidence for them. But they just said they were sorry, but they couldn't really do anything.
Okay. Alrighty. Give me 1 second, okay?
Okay.
And when was the last time have you seen Chris?
I saw him yesterday when he showed up outside of my workplace.
Okay. Did he say anything to you, or did you say anything to him?
No, I just was walking out with a friend, like a work friend, and I saw him just across the parking lot, and I just immediately got into my car and tried to leave.
Okay. And before yesterday, when was the last time you saw him?
He shows up outside my workplace like 2 to 3 times a week, so I see him fairly frequently.
Okay. Has any of your coworkers, have they seen him outside?
Yes.
Okay. And has anyone else other than you saw him outside of your home?
Just my daughter.
Okay. How old is your daughter?
She's 8.
Okay. Do you have other children?
No, just my daughter.
How is she doing?
I think she's okay. She's just adjusting to life without her father in the picture.
Does she know what's happening when when her dad is outside of the house?
I try to distract her, and I don't really know how to bring up that conversation. So I think she definitely notices, but I don't know for sure if she knows like what it means.
Right. Children, they're so much more aware of things than we realize.
Yeah.
You can definitely talk with her on her level about, mommy and daddy, we're not together in the same house right now, and so we need to make sure that we are safe and watching out for each other. And so you can talk with her about, like, if you see your dad at school, let me know, let your teacher know, just so you can know what she's thinking, because she probably has some thoughts about it as well. Yeah.
Okay.
So your daughter, she is at an age where she would easily understand all of that, and so it would be helpful to have a conversation.
Okay. Yeah, I just get nervous
Right.
about scaring her because I really don't want to.
Of course, no. It may be that you not use the words afraid or scared.
Yeah.
You know your daughter, so you could think about the wording that would be helpful to her, but also not scare her.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. What else? What else do you think would be helpful to you to try to help you feel safe?
Well, I just wonder if there's any sort of legal action. I don't know if there is because like the police haven't been super helpful, or
Right.
if there's like a different route I can go. But
Mhm.
I just
Yeah, there may be. I mean, there definitely are orders of protection, but what I try to tell people is that protection order is still just paper, and
yeah
so they're only as good as um, the police try to enforce them, but also if the person who is being asked to not do a certain thing, if they're going to obey what was being ordered of them. And
right.
so, do you think your husband would follow an order of protection if he was ordered not to come to your home or come to your workplace? Do you think he would do that?
I mean, honestly, I'm not totally sure because he hasn't been like violent or abusive since we split up,
Right.
and he didn't like escalate or anything when we did split up. But I think when he does stalk me, it's almost like to check up on me.
Okay.
And so I really don't know.
Okay. And I mean, that you bring up a really great point of just kind of like not knowing what his response will be or kind of like where he's thinking about doing right now.
Yeah.
And so I try to get people and try to help them kind of figure out what they can do regardless of what the other person does. How can you put things in place that you can follow to protect you and your daughter?
Yeah.
And so those are the kind of things I'm just trying to help you to think about. But I will certainly explain to you the processes for protection orders, and we can go in detail, and you can think about if that's something that you want to try to obtain. Okay. Okay. So where you live right now, is it a lot of neighbors around, or is it a lot of trees? I know Madison County is pretty rural. Um,
Yeah, it's a neighborhood, but it's not like a city neighborhood. It's not
Right.
like a neighborhood in Clark County.
Right.
I can see my neighbors, but they're not like right next door.
Okay. But walking distance?
Yes.
Okay. And how long would it take you to run to their house with your daughter?
Maybe like 3 to 5 minutes.
That's a pretty long time. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's just talk about what a protection order looks like, and I can go through the process of it just so you know what it is.
Okay.
And then definitely let me know if you have any questions, and we can go back because it can seem like a lot, but we can help you step by step to get it done if that's what you wanna try to do. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. But I will say that based on what you've told me, it does seem like you would qualify for a protection order. You can sit down with one of our advocates and they kind of would get more information and some clear timelines of what's been happening recently, but also some of the things that may have happened in the past. I know you mentioned that your husband has been violent with you in the past, and one of our advocates could sit with you and talk about all of that and put a good bit of that information into a protection order.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I want to make sure I have some of the other information correct. It's just you and your daughter, and you all live in Madison County.
Yeah.
And you believe that your husband is now living in Clark County.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the first thing is that temporary protection orders have to be filed in the county where what we call the respondent, and the respondent is just the person who we are getting the protection order against. And so in this case, it would be Chris. Okay. So we would have to file it here in Clark County. And this is what would happen. You could come and meet with one of our advocates. We would complete all of the paperwork with you. And then we would go to the Clark County Courthouse with you. First place you go to is the clerk's office. And they will take all the information, put it into the system, and then they would walk us over to the judge's office. And it's on a rotation, so we're not sure which judge will be the one that we'll see. But the judge would read over what you put in your order, may ask some questions, and it's up to the judge to decide whether there's enough information and evidence or whatever to decide, okay, like this seems like there's at least enough here for a temporary order. Okay?
Okay.
If the judge does sign that, they'll also give you a court date. And the court date would be within 30 days of that day that you file it. Okay? After that, we will go to the back to the clerk's office. They put everything in the system, all the court dates and all the information, and make some copies. And then we'll go downstairs to the sheriff's office. And then the sheriff will take the copy of the TPO, go over it, make sure that they understand. They'll ask you about if Chris has any weapons and where he could be found. You can list his home address, you can put his work address, and then they will try to serve him. And one thing that I really want you to try to remember is that if you get a TPO, and that's for temporary protection order, the order doesn't go into place until Chris has been physically served by the sheriff department. Okay? And that's something that is kind of hard for some people to remember, or they don't understand. It's like, oh, but the judge signed it. It's like, yeah, the judge signed it, but we do have to wait until the sheriff department has served the respondent before it actually goes into effect. Okay? All right, and so after that, we would just kind of make sure that you have copies for your job and maybe for your daughter's school. We want to keep one on you, maybe in your car, in a bag, something that you keep with you all the time, so you'll always have a copy if you needed to show it to law enforcement. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, like I was saying earlier, the protection order would be good until the next court date, which would be within 30 days.
Okay.
And then we would go back on that date. And if Chris has been served, then we'd have a hearing. You know, you would tell your part of like what's been happening and why you want to get this protection order extended.
Yeah.
And Chris would have an opportunity to speak if he wanted to. For the second hearing, the person who is trying to get the order, being you would have to be there. Chris does not have to be there. He has a choice. But if you don't show up, then it automatically pretty much gets dismissed. But it can go forward if Chris doesn't show up. Okay? And if the judge again decides that there's enough here that says that this order should be put in place for longer, then that's what it'll do. They'll put it in place for up to a year and with a new date. Okay?
Do I need to file a separate order for my daughter?
No, you can include anyone who lives in the home with you.
Okay.
So you can definitely add your daughter and any other family member or friend that may live in the home with you.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have someone else that you would need to add to the order other than your daughter?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So do you normally have someone that will walk you outside when you are getting off from work?
Sometimes it just depends on if me and some of my work friends get off at the same time.
Okay. Well, if you can, if you're comfortable, maybe talking with your employer about what's been happening, and maybe they can set it up for like a security guard to walk you to your car.
Okay.
I don't know if they have cameras outside of your job. Maybe you can try to park where there are cameras and where the most light is. Also, you know, we're animal creatures of habit, and so if you take the same route to home and work every day, it may not be a bad idea to kind of like switch up what route you take to go home and to the grocery store and picking up your daughter, just to do some different routes, and that way you can notice and pay attention if Chris is following you, just kind of being more aware of your surroundings.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Is that something that you feel like you could easily do?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it won't be a problem to switch up routes and make sure somebody's always with me.
Okay. Are there any other things that you're worried about?
Um, I was wondering if the TPO is served and he doesn't really follow it, if there's any follow up I can do with you guys because he wasn't like listening, just in case.
Well, here's what we try to get people to try to do. If Chris is violating the order in any way, the first thing you want to do is call the police, and you want to report that violation as soon as possible.
Okay.
And so there's a record that this person is violating this order, and then they can decide whether to take out a warrant for him violating the order. Okay?
Okay.
You just want to make sure that you are being super aware of what's happening around you. And I know it's a lot. It can be so overwhelming because you're having to do all of this because of somebody else.
Right.
But it's so courageous that you are trying to think about getting a protection order and just keeping you and your daughter safe. And I know that's not what you want to have to think about every day. So we definitely understand how hard that can be, and we want to help you as much as we can. But calling the police, you can definitely let us know what's happening. If you are just feeling unsafe in your house and you feel like you need to relocate, you can call our hotline just like you did today, and we can see if you are thinking that maybe going to a confidential shelter is something that you need to do. And we certainly don't have to talk about that right now, but it is an option.
Yeah.
And you can just kind of be thinking about it. But I certainly hope that you don't have to think about that.
Okay. Yeah, I think that if the TPO is served and he keeps violating it, that I might call back asking about shelter.
Yeah, just absolutely. And you can just call back even before it gets to that point if you just want to get more information about what it may be like to go into a shelter.
Okay.
All shelters are different. Project Save Week, the one that we have here, and we can, of course, give you the most detail about the one that we have. But there are others that you can call and get more information about them as well. So, yeah, the information is here, and whatever that we can do to help you feel a little bit more comfortable and just be more aware of resources and options. We want to do that.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything that we need to do right now? Do you want to schedule an appointment to meet with one of our advocates about the protection order?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay. Then I'm gonna put you on a brief hold, and I'm gonna get one of our outreach forms, and we'll get that completed, and then we'll see if we can get you an appointment set up. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Hold on just a second.